I'm Havilah Malone,
Hi, and I'm Regina Carver.
and you're here with another episode of ReThink Uncut.
ReThink Uncut, where we question life from different points of view.
So,
So,
no, right? So, we had a conversation, and thanks for everybody who tuned in and joined us for that conversation about hair. And it was about hair. And how that conversation came up, we have no idea, but it did.
it was fun.
It was really fun.
Yeah, it
And it
was a lot of
sparked a
fun.
lot of like conversation. It sparked a lot of conversation with, for people who viewed the episode. And
Mhm.
the overwhelming theme that came up, because they had a lot of people who were on your side, Regina, about like being natural as opposed to having
Yeah, the one young lady, I can't remember her name, but oh my goodness, I love the comment she made about being able to exercise, and do all these other activities that support your health when you're not concerned about your hair and what's going to happen. So, yeah, there are some benefits definitely in being natural and not having that concern and keeping you from being more active.
That's true. That's okay.
Mhm.
I still like rapping this. But one of the overwhelming, conversations that came up, or the pieces in the conversation that came up, was about that transition period between
Mhm.
going from relaxed hair to going back to natural hair, and just
Yeah.
comfort of that transition.
Yeah, it was difficult making that transition. But as we talked after that episode 5, this thing with transitioning came up and us transitioning in life
Mm.
even. And so, wow, it had me thinking about what does transitioning means and what does transition means. It means moving from one position to another. So how do we make transitions in other parts of our life for the better?
Exactly, because I think that's was in the hair part. That was the biggest thing, was that fear of the transition, this fear of that
Mhm.
in between stage, because
Mhm.
you're trying to figure out what to do and how to do your hair. And in life, as you go from stage to stage, whether that's going into a new job, or whether that's starting a relationship or ending a relationship, there's that transitional change period, and it can
Mhm.
be really uncomfortable. And I know for me, there's been plenty of, I can think from my childhood up until now, and how many things have transitioned and changed. And I don't think
Mhm.
it necessarily gets easier, but it's about like embracing that change that makes it a little bit more palatable, and especially knowing that, hey, what's coming next is even better than what you've come from. So kind of getting out of that comfort zone, and that has definitely helped me along my journey, because it's constantly changing, because there's always another level to go to.
But as I sit here now, as I mentioned to you earlier, oh, I don't want to cry. But today is the second anniversary of my mother passing and transitioning into another life. But what transitions can we make while we're still here?
Absolutely.
What can we do? What can we possibly focus on in the present moment that will better our lives, that will get us to where we want to be in this life before we make that final transition? Yeah.
That really brings up the point, and thank you so much for sharing that. It's really about not taking for granted the time that we have here, because these
That's right.
can be short. And so
Hmm.
really making the most of it. And if there's something that you want to do, whether it's uncomfortable or not, maybe you want to start a business, maybe you want, to find love,
Yeah.
in your life. And it's like, why hold back when tomorrow isn't promised?
And if not now, when? When? Before making that final transition? What can we do, like right now? What simple step, phone call, conversation, search on the internet can we do right now to help us transition to something that we really want to do in life before making that final transition? And sometimes it's just that easy step that we can make that can just open up all kinds of doors. But if you never take that one action you can take in that present moment where you are right now, it may be too late. It may be too late and you move into that final transition. So somebody's still waiting for you to make that transition into who you want to be or some goals that you have
Yes.
this lifetime.
Yes. And at the end of the day, it's like all of us, we want our lives to matter. We want to be
Mm-hmm.
behind, a legacy of making a difference in some
Mm-hmm.
way. And even if that's making a difference in one person's life, maybe it's a loved one or a child or, somebody, you want to be able to have done something that was meaningful and that you were passionate about.
Mm-hmm.
And I always appreciate, and it's always stuck with me. There was an Australian nurse by the name of Brownie Ware, and she wrote a book called The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying.
Wow.
And, the number one regret was that I wish I had lived the life that was the life that I wanted to live and not the life that everybody else wanted me to live.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, just that, making that transition or that change to being true to who you are, as opposed to trying to be what everybody else wants you to be, is a huge and powerful transition that is a difficult one to make, but will make all the difference in the world.
And you know what's funny about this? This all started from this conversation about hair. Transition from a perm to natural hair, but there's even more transitions to be made that could help us live a more full life, a freer life, because somebody's actually waiting. Somebody's waiting to see, to hear, to feel what you have to offer, the way you offer it. Somebody's waiting for that.
They need you.
For your transition this lifetime. With no regrets, as you mentioned. To live with no regrets.
No regrets.
Wow. Yeah.
This was an amazing conversation. And you're right. We went from hair back to living your fullest life ever.
Right.
And I tell you, everything is so interconnected. It is so interconnected.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to be true to who you are and embrace that transition. It's gonna be uncomfortable, but that's okay. It's a part of the process, because that discomfort is also molding you. It's also building within you the characteristics that you need to be able to function on that next level.
And if you've been watching from the beginning, I've transitioned to trying to be more comfortable sitting in this chair right now, just sitting here doing these calls, doing these recordings. So yeah, just the little things that you could do to just sit and be present and take an action.
So thank you so much for joining us for this particular episode of ReThink Uncut. I'm Havilah Malone.
And I'm Regina Carver. Thank you so very much for joining us. And we so appreciate the comments. They're awesome. Thank you. Bye.